The universe. The universe.
Yes. How appropriate for the season finale.
Not fiasco, please.
It's just the beginning.
It has that potential, you know.
I love it. I love it.
Journey, man. What a journey, dude.
It's been amazing. It's Monday again. It's October 9th. It's amazing. Yeah, it's been an incredible journey.
I've got all the cards on the wall. We're going to draw my whole fool's journey story, and just reflecting on that today. What a crazy journey from making the deck originally.
Right.
I've got my bud Jacob with us, my friend across the courtyard, who's been indoctrinated into the world of divination. He's going to be doing the camera work when we get over to the wall.
Nice. Shout out to Jacob. Thank you so much for helping us out, Jacob. Thank you for being here.
Hey, Mary Jo. Hey, Jilly.
I was just about to say shout out to everybody who's here for the party, for the season finale. This is good. This is exciting. We had a good wrap up last week. I've been going through my notes. It's pretty crazy what we've done. I've been watching some of the episodes. I'm looking forward to making some short content out of it and doing some cool things. But we have I've
started going through those myself and trying to pull out some really cool moments. I mean, there's a lot of it's like 60 shows.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool moments.
There's a lot.
And I'm excited also about what we've been talking about moving forward, So I don't know if I guess we could save that for the end and talk about that when we're done.
No, let's bust it out right now. We're going to do the angels next week, man. It's like I'm really super excited about diving into that energy. And do you have the manual, the big manual?
For the angel deck?
Yeah, you would have had that like a long time ago.
I don't think I have a
All
file
right, I'll
for it.
send that to you again. We're going to be going through the manual, and we're going to be talking about the different types of angels, and really get in deep with it,
Awesome.
how the whole system was created. It'd be very fun.
Awesome.
We're going to be doing a lot of readings with those too, and I have to say, the readings that have been happening with the angel decks have left a lot of people with their jaws hanging open.
Yeah, you've been saying that.
Man.
You know what I like about this is that a lot of people are online doing readings. They're pulling cards and pulling angel cards and pulling tarot cards. But I like the fact that we're kind of telling people what it all means and going through the cards and how to read them. And like it's not like reading for other people where we're showing people how to empower themselves, by
It was
reading.
really great to see like Jacob, a couple of his friends have like latched on. We've been doing kind of weekly classes and stuff, and you just see somebody's vision starting to open up, and that never gets old for me. I
That's awesome.
think that's the most joyous thing ever.
I love that.
So, what else, Mr. Zinn? Anything else before we just get into?
Angel answers. No, you know what? I mean, as per usual, I'm feeling the whole cycle. I'm feeling like it's the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new cycle. Good things coming. New
It's
things
always a little
coming.
bittersweet, isn't it? A little
Yeah. Oh, of
melancholy,
course.
just a little bit. As exciting as it is for what's next, this has turned into. It's not just a podcast. It was a real magical event in my life, and I dare say several other people's lives close to me who threatened me if I ever do that again.
All right. Well, you know what? It's
So, all right. Well, without further ado, let me grab my markers and let's
yeah,
get
let's
over to
do
the
it.
wall and let's give it a go.
I think it's the fractal nature of being. I think it's
You should be kind of pretty enclosed.
it's everybody kind of goes through the same things. And here's let me set up the screen here so we can have a nice big version of. Why is it not switching to that? Nope. There we go. That's the big version, and then we'll put that up on the screen. All right, so here we are at the beginning.
All right. So the fool, man, he's all excited, hands up in the air, woohoo, taking off. He's got his road to go down here, and he has absolutely no idea where it's going, but he is just very excited. And just like you have with the swirl around him and his arms up there, he takes off down the road and goes to meet the whatever the path has in store for him. In this case, it happens to be this crazy guy out in the middle of the woods doing these effects, making fire and causing wind and rain and like all this stuff. And he goes, "Hey, bro, what's up with you?" And the magician introduces himself, and they talk about things. And he had left his house with his little backpack and his little scruffy dog. And the maker says, "Come on in, man, put the pack down. I've got some stuff to show you." So he winds up being a student and getting his all of his projective abilities and his abilities to do telekinesis and to discover his clairvoyant powers and to be able to do things with all of the elements. All four of the elements are all represented right there. And he winds up winding up leaving the wizard with all of this ability to make these things happen, right? So he leaves all full of excitement and joy, and he has this whole bag full of new tricks, and he meets this really beautiful woman, man. She's sitting up on a throne. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful silken robes and little star things all over everywhere. And he walks up to her all entranced, and she's just looking at him with kind of a cold look. And he starts talking to her, and she says, well, you know, that bag of tricks you have there are really good, but do you know what to do with them? And he goes, no. So she winds up offering him the tarot deck as a way to start to see where he's going and how to use all of those little pieces of goodies he's got. So he stays with the priestess for a while, and she's a tough taskmaster. And every time that he would come back with a completed task, he would get another little piece of information. And she's the guardian of all the veils all the way through the astral. So like every time he would get to have a success with the tarot, she'd pull back another road or another veil, and he'd be going, oh my goodness, this is the most amazing thing. So now he has these abilities. He's got the gas in the car. He's got these powerful abilities. Now he's got some sight. He can see where he's going, how to use those things. So he starts up again, and he winds up coming to this really beautiful house, just really opulent, and tons of people around. And he comes in and he meets the beautiful empress. And she is just very, very beautiful and very, very warm, and welcomes him wholeheartedly to her home. She's the quintessential hostess with the mostess, and winds up making him feel, as she does with everyone, very welcome, and to make sure that they're feeling whatever pleasure and joy and things of the earth that she winds up sharing with them. Like a really good example of this card is the cornucopia. So he's just having a feast, having a really good time. He kind of describes to her where he's going, what his like thing is. She goes, well, you need to go talk to the emperor. So sure enough, he goes out, he sees the emperor wielding these armies, and he goes up to him and says, you know, the empress said I should come and talk to you. You know, how do you wield so much power? So the emperor takes him under his wing and teaches him about wielding large-scale vision and power, and having the ability to say yes and no in life and death situations. And he winds up giving him a couple of clues on how to like proceed along with his thing, sends him off, blesses him, sends him off on his merry way, and he winds up coming to the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is represents all of the classical ways that things get done in the world. Like the world is built on systems, and those systems function because they continue to be the same over and over and over again. And that's what he winds up finding in ways to work within the structure of the world to seek his success and use his skills and learn more lessons. So after he gets to the Hierophant down here, this is often represented by the church, by the way. You'll see a lot of people represent him like that. Then he gets down here to a Y in the road. And on one thing is a really beautiful woman, and he strikes up an amazing relationship with her. And on the other path is his continued path. And he faces this moment where he's like evaluating this. You know, it's like where two people come together, and he like goes back and forth with her, and they decide that like staying together was not going to be something they could do. And he continues on down his path of magic, and he gets down here to the Chariot. And he's on this really dark part of the road. And up ahead, he sees some outlaws and some dangerous stuff. But at the same time, he sees this guy in a chariot. The chariot's coming all the way through. Boom. And he stops him for a second. He says, listen, you look like a military kind of guy. Could you please give me some hints on how to like defeat my enemies? And the chariot guy says, listen, you got to just have single-minded focus. You have to be completely just determined to make it no matter what. And you have to go after it with everything you have. And you blow through them, and they won't even know that you were there. And he takes that lesson, and he comes up now after expending this huge amount of energy to defeat his enemies and come out unscathed. He continues down the path and gets to this woman holding scales. Yes, and this is the Lady of Adjustment, and she is about balance and justifying things. A lot of things with justice had to do with her. So she meets him and tells him that, yeah, his energy is really skewed right now, and he needs to like chill that stuff out and get down to a mellow, like balanced place. Find your center, and then you could go on and continue on your path and find right choices. So he says, okay, cool. And he continues down the road, and here's this guy, wizard looking dude, you know, but not all the like the shiny stuff, just kind of like the shabby Gondolfers, you know, with tattered robes and stuff. And a whole ton of people are following him down the road, but he's not paying any attention to them. And what that's about is like he's gone inside himself for his own inner journey, and he's sought his own inner light. Sometimes that was because of something sad, or like he wanted to withdraw from the world. But what happened in doing that is his light became so bright that like it attracted people all around who came to seek what he had. And he shared his time alone with the fool, and the fool went into his own little inner journey to find his own bright inner light. And he gets to the Wheel of Fortune, and the Wheel of Fortune is always spinning. One day you're up, one day you're down. Most of the time, this card really represents good things happening in your life. So after all of the intensity that the fool's gone through, he's like, got his inner light here, and that changed his whole little outlook a lot, and made some opportunities available that wouldn't have been available. And he goes to the next card, and the next card is lust. And lust is just the primal fire, pure, absolute, raw, untenuated energy. And he uses that to like boost himself up and go continue on a really difficult part of the path. And then after that, he arrives at the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man, you'll often see a tree with a limb out here and a guy hanging with his leg up in a four kind of scenarios, hanging upside down. He's looking down below. So he winds up coming to this tree, and he realizes he needs to like go up in there and like review his past and everything that's happened to him, everything that he knows, everyone that he knows, every relationship he's ever had, the whole 9 yards. So forward movement comes to a halt here, and he winds up going up and hanging in the tree. and searches inside. It sounds like a really awful scenario, and actually hanging upside down by your feet for a long period of time isn't particularly pleasant. But looking back and blessing and actually accepting who you are and what you've been is a really important step in moving forward through this path of initiation. So, and a curious thing, just as a side note, this hanging upside down thing happens in a lot of divination systems, and one of those is the runes, which is also part of this deck. And there's the story of Odin that hangs upside down in a tree for a long time, looking down into a pool of water. And he reached down into the pool of water and found the inspiration for the runes. So while it's a difficult state, it is not a bad state. Okay, so refreshed and ready to move on, he comes around, and who's he see but death? And he goes, oh, hell, man. I thought everything was good, and death was not there to take him, but to inform him that his way of life, his way of being, everything about the way he made his way through the world was coming to an abrupt end. And that was over and done and never going to come back again. And that the sooner he was able to release that and move ahead, the sooner he would release the debris that's holding him prisoner at this point and keeping him from elevating his energy. Okay, so after he has a close call with death and he gets out, I always think of Bill and Ted when I see that. He gets down here, and there's an angel. And she has 2 spheres, and in one sphere is water, and in one sphere is fire, and she's combining those into a third thing that is larger thing than either of those. And this card is called the card of alchemy. And the fool winds up watching this and goes and talks to the angel, and he realizes that he has to take his opposites and combine them and make them into his own whole in order to be complete. Wow, cool lesson. So the next thing he does is he gets over here, and here's the devil, man, with the big nasty wings and the horns and everything. And he's sitting up on his throne here. And there are two people down here chained to this. And there's a big metal collar around both of them. And he watches the devil interact with them, and he starts to talk to the devil and says, dude, this is really, why do you have these people enslaved? And the devil looks at him and kind of laughs, and he goes, look closer. And he looks closer at the collars around the neck, and they're huge, and they could take them off anytime they want. So they weren't slaves. They were there by their own choice. And that represents anything in the world that can grab you, take hold of you, take your soul, and keep you prisoner, and keep you from realizing the brightness of your light, and keep that light dim. So he goes, okay, cool. And he moves on from the devil and realizes that he doesn't want to be enslaved. He doesn't have those addictions, and he's moving on. He walks out of there, and it's kind of a grim little world out there, man, a little gray, and he comes up on this pile of rubble that used to be a tower. And the tower got hit by lightning and exploded in every direction. Now it's just this pile of rubble. And the fool walks by this pile of rubble, and he's looking at it, and he's realizing those were his hopes and dreams and plans that he had made. But he realized through the course of his journey to this state that the foundation that all of those were built on was faulty and wasn't something that could actually sustain a building. It could sustain an actual real life and those dreams. So that it had to come down to the bottom and start all over again. So a little dejected, he's walking along and
this is great. By the way, you've got some comments. Julie says you're better than Madden with that whiteboard. And Lori came in a little late. And I was just explaining to her that we're going through the whole deck. She was asking if it was somebody's reading. So we're going through the deck, and I'm also popping up the cards, and I'm also making you large at times.
Okay, am I going too fast?
No, this is great. I love it. I'm glad you paused for a moment, because I'm looking at the cards as you're describing them. I'm popping the images up as well. And then,
and just sort of stream of consciousness.
Yeah, it's great. Wonderful. We have
we're getting really close to the end of the major arcana, so we'll take a break at the end of that.
Great.
Okay, so he comes out of the tower, and he's walking down the road at night. He's looking up at the starry sky, and he sees this one star in particular. Some people might say it's a 7-pointed star. And he sees that it's a beautiful woman, and she's pouring water from a jug, which is the water of life to a thirsty world. So she's bringing hope back, and the promise of hopes and dreams fulfilled, but not immediately. There's still a little time to go. So. So he gets a big charge of inspiration and energy from the star, and he's really happy now. And he gets down here to this really kind of beautiful but eerie kind of world, and it's the moon. And he starts walking through there, and there are phantoms and all kinds of different things that are scary and beautiful, and dreams and nightmares and like weird little weird little crustaceans going up out of the water. And he kind of gets lost, and all of a sudden his grasp on reality kind of like melts away, and he starts to become afraid and paranoid because he doesn't know where he is. He doesn't recognize anything. Like things are happening that don't happen in this normal world, and he kind of freaks out a little bit, and he starts running, and he winds up falling into this river. Splash. And he winds up just riding on the slipstream of the river. And he's not resisting, he's just letting go, and he's just going along. He has no idea where he's going, but he gets dumped out on this little island. Beautiful little island with a tree. And he gets up on this, and he walks around the tree, and he sees this bright golden little child, and it's glowing in every direction. And he feels the warmth and energy coming from this child, and slowly it starts to elevate and goes up into the sky, and he realizes it's the sun itself, and everything is good, and the sun is like the total success, and like you've made it through the really dark part, and here is the payoff for that in every direction. You know, the sun relates to every single one of the zodiac signs. It's like 360 degrees in every direction of goodness and success. So he's happy as a lark and just coming along, and he comes on this angel that is blowing a trumpet over a cemetery. And the souls are going up out of the graves and up into heaven. And he realizes that those are the remnants of the buried stuff in his past, and that now was the time to release that. And in doing so, he was able to contact his own ally, his higher self on the higher planes, and realize a level of magic and abilities and peace and wholeness within himself that he never knew was possible. So now at the end of that, everything's been burned away, lessons have been learned, skills have been acquired, and at the end of all of that, we're at the end of the road at the universe. Woo! And the universe is now where the road for this particular part of the journey stops, and you have all the skills and all the abilities that you need to go out into the real world. The major arcana, universal, energetic, astral oriented, minor arcana, nuts and bolts every day. So now this is the real world that we live in, and you're now prepared with all the marbles, everything that you could possibly need to go and kick ass and make a complete success of whatever endeavor you're going on. Okay, so that's the end of the major arcana. Let me take a 5-minute break and get some coffee and catch my
awesome. Yeah. That let Jacob rest his arms. He's probably holding that phone up. Jacob, you could rest your arms. Yeah, put the phone down. Awesome. This is great. Oh, hello, I'm back. So yeah, something went wrong suddenly when you finished, and I was suddenly kicked out, but now I'm back. And what's up, Raphael? I see Raphael out there. Good to see you, man. Thank you for joining us for the season finale. Bryan is doing an amazing job drawing a diagram and going through the entire story as we look at each card as well up on the wall. I've got to bring that back into the studio here. Give me a second as I set this up backstage. So I've got each one of the cards, and we were at the universe. I was trying to keep up as we were going through the cards. I don't know who's out there, but thank you guys for coming and sharing the season finale with us. There's about 10 of you out there, so thank you. I think I'm gonna ring the bell just for the hell of it, even if nobody's subscribing, because it's just the season finale and it's time to ring the bell. There it is. Ringing that bell for the season finale. We got some cool stuff coming up. We're going to figure out what the show is going to be called. We're going to be going through the angel deck. We're thinking about calling it
Angel Talk.
So if you guys have any suggestions or you like that idea, let us know. Bryan is back. I see Bryan just came back. And so we're done with the major arcana. Let me pull that out, and then I'll follow along with you and get the little bell from Raphael. How you doing, Raphael? Good to see you out there. Always nice.
Yeah.
You're hanging out way past midnight and doing the 3 o'clock in the morning thing.
So you ready, Mr. Zinn?
For whom the bell tolls. I am ready. I'm having a blast. This is great here.
All right. Okay, so we finished up the major arcana, which is a 22-step of personal self-initiation into your biggest self, awakening your abilities with your clairvoyance and your sight, and with your abilities to use your energy in the world for healing and whatever, umpteen starting fires, whatever you want. And you now have stepped off and you're fully equipped to go start something. So you have a brilliant idea. Woohoo! And the energy, the blast of energy to make it happen. And then from there, you have a couple of investors who want to put some money into your idea because they really believe in it too. And there's two people coming together to help a third. Okay, so that idea was a great idea. The investors put enough money in for it to actually start to grow. And here it's like your ships are coming into the harbor. You're up on the hill up here overlooking everything, and everything's starting to work. And the idea is actually more than just taking off. It's already in super big fruition, which winds up causing everybody to put together a whole big celebration. And these are the four corners of the celebration tent. And it represents the stability now of this not being just a startup, but this being a solid entity that's there and doing well. However, as in any situation in the world, as soon as competitors look and see you doing really good, now all of a sudden there's going to be arguments, and the people that were part of this that wanted to make it happen are now trying to tear it apart and get their own piece of it. And the competitors, the sharks circling, are waiting for their opportunity to either copy your stuff or put you out of business. And it becomes a really brutal time. This is where what was stable becomes unstable. And from there, it goes down to the Six of Wands, where you've risen to the challenge of the competition, and the competition no longer has the advantage. You have the advantage, and you've achieved this successful stability out of this instability. And it's a very good rest after a really brutal war. Stable. Okay, from the stable point, it goes down here to the Seven of Wands. And the Seven of Wands represents you being up on a hill and a whole bunch of people with wands down below trying to attack you. So the competition has gotten really, really intense now. And it's now no longer just the local competition, because the idea actually took off and is a good idea and you were able to weather through that. Now it's gone on to a bigger scenario. And the Seven of Wands represents the fight that you're gonna have to like undergo. What's cool about this card is that that person has the the high ground and has the upper hand. So success is pretty much guaranteed, although it's going to be a heck of a battle. So you get down now to the Eight of Wands, and the Eight of Wands represents some news you've been waiting for, man. You finished up the battle, you won, you're now trying to move ahead, and you're waiting for news from a client or news from somebody that would give you the next step to be able to move ahead. And the Eight of Wands represents that. Like, you'll be hearing about it instantaneously. Which gets us up here to the Nine of Wands, which is kind of like the Seven of Wands, only now you don't have the higher ground and there's a much bigger force against you. And if you lack courage and you lack strength, which is what this card is called, then you'll just give up and turn around and the competition will just clobber you. But if you pick up that wand and find that fire inside you, with the wands represent the invincible, like indefeatable part of you, and charge headlong into the crowd just with everything you have, knowing that you may not win, but with that attitude, you more than likely will. And you come out victorious on the end, and you have everything you want. And this is really funny, you know, this is the old nine thing where the nines are that moment before completion. So this is that last struggle, that last little bit that the fool's got to go through in order to get his business off the ground and make this idea that happened all the way back here actually happen. And now with the success of this victory comes down to the 10 of Wands. And the 10 of Wands represents like this overwhelming oppression. Like you got everything you want and now it's not satisfying at all. As a matter of fact, it's crushing you. You know, it's like the singer, the recording artist that goes, oh man, I want my own record label, and it dives in headlong into it. She's like busting out, and the next thing you know, she's like a CEO of a record company, and all she does is go to meetings and sign artists, and she doesn't get to make music anymore. And that's kind of what this is about, man. It's just like, now that you've gotten what you wanted, it really just, it just really oppresses you. And as a matter of fact, that's the name of this card, oppression. So after this kind of intense thing, he's like rethinks his thing, and he starts off again and sees if he could find some help. And he meets the princess, who's a really young, vivacious, want to change the world kind of girl. And she hooks onto the story and gets involved in that, comes down and enlists her brother, the prince, and he's a really energetic, knows a lot of people, busts into the room, and he's got friends and connections all over everywhere, and he digs the idea too, and he's gonna help as well. And then he like sends it on to his mom, the queen, who is like the star of every show. Now, when she walks into the room, she lights up the whole room with her light and her energy and her vivacious countenance. So she goes up to a couple people in the room, and they say, wow, yeah, okay, we'll be happy to help you if you're recommending it. And it comes down to the king, and the king is down there like making all of the promises come to fulfillment. Okay, so now now he's kind of got his business together. The king has helped him, with the king's help, business took off. The competitors got like shipped away. He's like now in a really good place financially. So what's next? Well, love. So this first Ace of Cups is about that. It's the moment when your spirit goes, I'm really ready for love. I'm feeling that like bug. I don't know who it is or what it is, but I'm just really feeling that like tickle of like, ooh, I'm so ready for this. The other thing about this on the esoteric level is it really talks about your clairvoyant abilities and having a connection to the higher power and to God, and those abilities and help raining down and splashing into your cup. So now that you're like ready for love, you're not really thinking about it. You're not actively pursuing it, but you go down to the bar and you're sitting across and you're thinking about your business that day, and you look up and there's a pair of eyes that like you are just riveted to, and the spark goes bing. Wow, man, your energy goes woo, 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 woo. And next thing you know, you're sitting and talking, and like the night's gone, and you're like, wow, where have you been? And this is the most amazing thing I've ever felt, ever. And that whole like spark of new love, that like that's so addicting. It's like a drug in and of itself, falling in love, and that first little chunk of being in love, like nothing like it. So it has promise, and they're going to pursue it, and they're having a really good time. And we get to the Three of Cups, and it's woohoo! Wedding ceremony, wedding celebration. And the Three of Cups represents the feast at the wedding celebration, or any type of celebration. In this case, it's his wedding celebration. And it's the culmination of all of that time that's spent getting all of this, being prepared and having your heart open and ready, and like the universe bringing that person that really strikes your fancy and like lights you up. And then everyone's celebrating the fact that it really worked and you guys are together. So it was such an amazing party that you sort of blacked out because you drank way too much. And this is the hangover card. This is the card the morning after the celebration when you're going, oh my God, what did I do? And in a lot of ways, a lot of interpretations, this card represents overindulgence of any kind. And that can be like drugs or alcohol, but that's also like business or working too much or anything that like is just way too much. And it's the hangover that happens after that, like gets burned out. So, as good as it looked, things move along. Not everything works out the way it seems. And the Five of Cups are two cups that are three cups that have been knocked over. All the water is spilled out of them. The fools stand there looking at them like, oh my God, I just lost everything. But he soon turns around and realizes that there are still two cups full, and that what he needs to do is refocus his energy on what is there and forget about what has been lost, and to give that up all together, and that he can move on from that space and grow something even better than it was before. And that's what happens as he gets down to emotional fulfillment. Six of Cups. It's where like there's so much joy, there's so much happiness, there's so much feeling of bliss that the cups overflow and run out everywhere. So that was a really happy time, and it's like a renewed kind of energy and a renewed kind of hope out of a really dark and disappointing time. So that leads him down to the Seven of Cups, and the Seven of Cups is this scenario where he winds up seeing all of these opportunities, love opportunities, business opportunities, personal opportunities, and they're all dancing around, but none of them seem solid. None of them seem like anything he can grasp onto. And he's very disillusioned. Nothing really wants to hold on, and nothing really wants to like grab his attention and ignite his passion. So he winds up kind of falling into a really deep state of depression. which gets us to the Eight of Cups. Hang on. And the Eight of Cups is called the addiction card because the Eight of Cups represents something that you have to walk away from and leave, something that you're really emotionally bonded to and could be physically bonded to as well, but that it's killing you. And you know it's killing you, and you're like, keep telling yourself, I've got to stop, I've got to stop, I've got to leave this relationship. It's just awful. It's killing me, it's suffocating me, it's killing my soul. And the longer you stay, the louder that voice gets, and the more your energy is drained, and the more your joy goes away. And the more your joy goes away, and the more you emanate like pain and hatred and fear and sadness, that's the things that you wind up bringing to you in greater and greater and greater quantities until it finally extinguishes your happiness altogether. But if you find the courage to move on, if you find a just say no moment, yeah, Nancy Reagan. If you find a moment where you can say, I need to leave. I know it's going to be scary. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. And you just know that thing is killing you. And you turn around and leave. The universe has this amazing way of opening up new pathways, presenting new things right in front of you. And that's exactly what happened to the Fool. He gave it up. He walked away. And he gets down here to the Nine of Cups, one of my favorite cards in the deck. And the Nine of Cups is... unlike the Five of Cups, where two of them are full and three of them have been knocked over, all of these are upright. Eight of them are full, and the ninth one represents your wish to be fulfilled and what you want for emotional joy and stability, the things that make you joyous. You know, the cups are about emotions. So this isn't so much about your finances and money and stuff like that. This is about the things that bring you emotional security and bliss and joy and the kind of good vibration and frequency that you can send out to people around you, and that starts spreading like wildfire, and it's a really beautiful thing. So after your wish is made, coming here to the 10th, okay, wishes. The 10 is always the place where the things have gotten completed. You know, over here it was, you know, you got what you wanted, but now it's sucked and it's crushing you. This, on the other hand, is now you got what you wanted, and it's long-lasting, abiding emotional satisfaction and abundance. So like on every level, feeling love, feeling joy with people, feeling friendship and camaraderie, connection to your fellow people that like you love, and everything that can make you blissful is about this card.
Good card. We like that card.
I love bliss. Bliss is good. Yeah. Okay, so now out of this state of bliss, the Fool goes and hooks up with the Princess of Cups, who is just a really compassionate young woman, and winds up hooking him up with some new love interest and moving him along. And the next person that she meets is she hooks him up with her brother, the prince, and the prince has always got really great connections on people to like check out. He winds up meeting somebody cool and gets approval from the queen because she's a daughter of a good friend of hers. And then the queen comes and tells the king what's going on, and they give the blessing on that and to make sure that the like fool gets to have a like really good time. And well, I shouldn't say it like that. He finds really emotionally good stuff. Yeah. All right. So now that like finance has gotten cool, the whole love thing has gotten worked through, he's back in a really good place on that. You know, now is the time to actually start making some of his dreams that he made and wishes that he made in the Nine of Cups. You know, these are about emotions, so this isn't hard copy stuff. This isn't earth stuff yet. This is still desires, and with the fire cards, the wands, the fire is about potential energy. The water is about the emotions and desires that take that potential energy and form it into an idea and a thing. And then we get to the swords, which are the plans and the machinations and the systems that you have to use, most of which are mental, to form an actual plan to make it happen in the real world. So this is the Ace of Swords, which is the absolute burst of energy to like figure something out. This is the Two of Swords, and the business has started to take off, and next, this is the next plan for how to make that better. The Two of Swords represents a conflict between two people. This is usually in this context, this would be a competitor and you, and in the midst of that, there's a momentary truce where the two of you have come together, have ceased warfare, but that's not probably going to last. As we get down here to the Three of Swords, which is one of the hardest cards in the deck, because this idea that you had and this burst of energy now got blocked, and now it's like in warfare, and it's kind of blown up altogether. The Three of Swords represents total heartbreak, and it's a really brutal card. And it's like the things that you loved, the things that you wanted, the things that you cared about, all just at once, like three swords to your heart. Oh, ow. Okay, so after that heartbreak, you pick yourself up, you lay yourself on your bed, and you recuperate. The Four of Swords is about recovering after a brutal battle. So like after the whole conflict and losing out on that and having your heart broken and seeing your dream go down the tubes, you now like take a time to back off, regroup, and re-energize and fix yourself and heal. So once you come back into the world, there's still the arguments, there's still the debris from this, but you're like healed and you're working through it. You get down to the Six of Swords, and you realize that this whole scenario where you've been gaining your sustenance, where you've gone to support you this whole time, is now completely gone, and that you got to like go find a new source of food and energy, and that you wind up getting this eureka moment. Sometimes it's shaving, sometimes it's when you're on the throne. You just never know when it's going to happen, when it goes pop, and you're ready to have a moment where you go, oh my God, that's the way out. Like the whole thing works. So based on that excitement, he winds up going out again to the sevens. The sevens are really kind of tough cards. And this card represents like deception. So he's going out and he's looking for new stuff and he's getting all this information, but a lot of it is deception. Some of it is outright lies. Some of it is deception by omission. And some of it could be like, if there's still some of his residual stuff that competitors had in their sites, it can represent outright thievery and like somebody actually taking your stuff. So in this scenario, he winds up backing off and really just assessing what's going on and, you know, checking his pocketbook, looking back behind him to make sure everything is copacetic. So then he gets to the Eight of Swords, and the Eight of Swords winds up being this jail cell of swords. And he's looking out through this jail cell, like there's just no way out. And really, it's like going into a deep, like, I'm stuck, nothing can happen, I'm stuck, I'm blocked. And what he doesn't realize is if you turn around and look the other way, the whole room is open and he could walk away. And what's required here is a different point of view and changing your mindset in order to move forward. Because the old way that you've been thinking is blocked. So now here we get down to the Nine of Swords, probably my most, I don't really enjoy this card all that much.
Least favorite card.
Yeah. Because this card is the fear card. This card represents, this is fear incarnate. This is the moment when you know something rotten is going to happen, man. There's a court date, there's a hospital thing, there's something that you're looking at that you're just going, oh man, I don't want to do that. And our infinite capacity to sit there and go over and over and over how bad it's going to suck, how bad it's going to hurt, how long it's going to take, how awful it's going to be, how every second's going to be torture. And most of the time trying to avoid addressing it as much as possible, running in the other direction as far as you can while it's still just growing and yakking at you. And oh my God, this card is like my nemesis because it is the essence of fear. Because the reason that you're running away is because you're afraid to face it. You're afraid that what you're thinking is going to actually manifest, when in reality, it's never as bad as you think it's going to be. Right. Even if it's going to suck, it's not going to suck as bad as you can make it suck in your mind. So he gets in this whole route of like, oh man, I just know it's all going to be bad. And it winds up dying. And he gets down to the 10 of Swords. You know, the 9 of Swords is where they're hanging over you on a thread, waiting to like pierce you and like kill your dream. And this is the 10 of Swords where they actually did fall, but now it's over. What was bad is going to happen. It's already done. There's no more thinking about how bad it's going to be. It's as bad as it ever was going to get, and now it's time to move on. So out of the debris of that, out of the death of that idea, he goes down to the Princess of Swords, who is a really great, she's a social media technician. You know, she's not the empathetic. She's not the empathetic. You know, let's be friends with everybody. She's about how to make that work. So she gets on and starts like this new plan that he's got, and like it's really cool. And lo and behold, the prince knows some stuff. He wants to actually get involved, and he starts helping with some plans. They go to meet with mom, the queen. The queen's like, wow, you know, I don't normally get involved in things like that, but that's pretty good. She's she's been through some really intense changes in her life. So she's not very like emotional, like she's not missed empathy whatsoever, but she knows a good idea when she sees it, and she directs them on to the king and asks for all the help that they can get to make that happen. So woohoo. All right, then we get up here to the Pentacles, and now after all of this mental gradu, boy, what a brutal suit the Swords are. That's because it's all in the mind, and now the mind is the the mind is the enemy. Yeah. Okay. So now, wow, here's a whole new idea. We've got this great plan. We've got the royalty involved. It's got to go good. Here's the Ace of Pentacles, which represents the primal archetype of Earth and the spring forth of the seed bursting forth from the earth and actually going to grow into fruition. It gets held down here, and like two people come together and they start working on this scenario together. They've got this really amazing harmonic flow happening with their resonance, and it's making everything grow. This business takes off. They wind up like being on top of the world, and this is the 3 of Pentacles, where it represents mastery over your craft, and that not only you're a master of it, but your stuff is in super demand and you're getting paid top dollar for it. So for this little brief period of time, you're on top of the hill, but you wound up like really getting enthralled with the money, and like you didn't do much to like further innovate. So you socked all your stuff away in the four in this chest with a lock on it, took everything out of circulation, and there's no new ideas. But now like the competition has come and stolen all of your stuff, man. And now you're no longer top of the heap. You're not even on the heap at all. And everything gets wiped out in like complete financial destitution. God, that sucks. So now you're sitting on the side of the road, a bag lady. And so a rich guy walks by, man, with a big bucket full of change and goes, here, have some stuff. So this is like an immediate little respite out of the destitute like scenario. And it's a happy little moment, but it's a moment that doesn't really last. So now, like, you take the remnants of what happened with that and you like reform it again. And you're down here in the Seven of Pentacles. And the Seven of Pentacles is often called the failure card because it represents multiple times that you're going to have to go out, start, learn, and fail. And then learn again, start again, go out and fail. And it's going to happen over and over and over again, which can really just suck the soul from you, man. It's like when there's no joy coming in, where everything, it looks like all the work you've done is a failure, like it was all for nothing. It's really easy in that space to give up. But what this card says is all of those are for a reason. And that it's, you know, it's sad that it's not overnight success, but if you use each one of those failures as a way to learn and a way to grow and a way to get better, then eventually when you hit the final one, woohoo, big time, big time, big time. So you're trying again, you come up with a new plan. You found a mentor that's going to show you the ropes and the new thing that you're doing. And this is the apprentice card. And you're getting information, you're getting taught, you're getting somebody with inside contacts and knowledge to take you under his wing, and you're excelling in that scenario. So then you get up here to one of my fave cards, the Nine of Pentacles. And the Nine of Pentacles is that moment where the business has taken off. It's really kicking ass. And it's been going for a while now. And you're right on the edge of selling it for a ginormous amount of money. And that winds up happening. And over here in the Ten of Pentacles, it's lasting, abiding abundance. It's the kind of abundance that like you can't spend, and that you can take care of the people around you, take care of people at large in a way, in a lot of ways, and also be able to leave something as an inheritance and a legacy for the people that come after you. And this is not the kind of like money that you get in the lottery and then in 2 years it's gone. It's around with you then for the rest of your life. 1 second, I need a quick drink.
This is great, Bryan. This is awesome. I love being able to quickly review the cards, and it's like I'm struggling not to say, "Oh, look at this and look at that," because the cards are coming up and they're just so beautiful. But I love everybody here in the audience. And RJ says that's the money we all want.
So you're sitting up on the hill in the big house, and you're just kind of really like sitting around with that self-happy smile going, man, this really worked out after all of it. After all of it, man, after all of it, the heartbreaks, the joys, the successes, getting kicked in the face and coming back and recreating over and over and over until you found the thing that worked. And now you're in that space that like you could be happy and secure for the rest of your life. So because you have some good cash, you made friends with the royalty. You know, you started hanging out with the princess a little bit here, and you know, she's always a really good party girl that makes things happen. And the prince, you know, he's always there, and he's really about making things actually come to fruition. And he like picks up on the plans and is a really good delegator and winds up finding people that can actually create what the ideas were. So he's a really great person to have on your side. Then we get down to the queen, and the queen is full of empathy and joy for watching people come to their own fruition. And finally, last but not least, you have the King of Pentacles, who has put all of his voluminous resources behind this idea, and it will never, ever, ever run out. And that, my friends, is my fool's journey.
Wonderful. Look at that. That's wonderful. Jake, Jacob, can Jacob step back, get an overview of it all, and then maybe kind of start at the beginning? Go, just show us the drawings that you did. Wonderful wrap up to an amazing journey. Grace is out there saying bravo. Wow, look at that.
You know, for anyone that's trying to learn the tarot and memorize it, you know, taking a card a day and like learning the Fool, and then telling yourself the Fool's story that day. Then the next day you add the Magus and you tell this whole story from the Fool to the Magus to the Priestess, and you keep telling the story like you can't help but remember. You know, so it's a really good, and it's not only about the memorization part of that, it's also about understanding how those cards relate to each other and how they influence each other, and that it's an amazing energy flow.
Absolutely. And Julie is thank you for an amazing journey. And let me
thanks for going with us. Good to see you, Grace.
Yeah, that was great. That was bravo, my friend. Bravo.
Wow, did that in an hour?
Yeah, you did that in an hour and 10 minutes. Yep.
Oh man.
Very nice. You're kind of good at it, you know. you might know a little bit about the tarot.
Maybe a piece or two, yeah. Well,
cool.
Dude, I just have to tell you, man, what an enjoyable, like, I really have, I've really come to look forward to our little group and like everybody that's, you know, been part of it. Thanks, Leah.
Absolutely. And Grace says right back at you, Bryan. And yeah, it's really again, I love the whole this whole platform has really kind of turned me on to a way to set an intention and connect to people out there, and then you do it live, and then it sits there, and then other people connect to it, and you get people, you know, contacting you later on saying, hey, this, you know, this is what I saw, and it's just really cool. So
so Jacob,
are we starting up right away next week? What's our plan?
I want to introduce you to Wonder Kid here.
Oh yeah, let's meet him.
Yeah, Jacob.
What's up, Jacob? Nice to meet you. Welcome to the family.
Thank you. He is part of the family, man. I've been abusing him like multiple times. And it's really makes it so easy since he lives right across the courtyard from me.
That's awesome. I'm so happy
I appreciate you very much, man. I really appreciate your help.
Totally. The universe has definitely sent Jacob into the picture, and I love that his name is biblical. He's got a biblical name.
Yeah. So, well, one last pitch. Yeah.
There's a couple. How many you got left? You only got a couple left, right?
You know, they're getting pretty thin. Yeah, I'm rolling out, and angel decks are definitely a nice little star there. Yeah. So anyway, if you're interested, the QVC codes are up, and you can go straight to the website, and if you direct mail me, I'll give you a nice little discount for hanging out and participating with us in the show. And we'll be selling, we'll be sharing the angel decks as well. And you know what? Something about doing the angel show, it's like, in a way, it is the end of this. But I was just thinking about this earlier today. It's not the end of it, because every angel card has a tarot card correspondence. So while we're doing the angel meanings, and every week we'll be doing the card that goes along with that and how that works with that. So I think that'll really be a great idea, or a great way to show how the decks are interconnected, and that'll be really
absolutely good. I'm so looking forward to it. I'm so glad that we figured out a way to continue this and actually evolve it, because it's going to come back on the same channel, but we're going to figure out how to rename it so that it's you know, I guess relevant to the angel deck. But I love it. And Robert saying every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. So that's where we're at. The fractal nature of being. It just continues to go infinitely this way and infinitely that way. And I guess we'll see you guys next week.
Well,
Thank you for being
before
here.
we do that, I would really love to send out a major blast of love and gratitude
Okay.
to the source. So just gather. Everybody is still around. If you'd love to participate with us, we're going to do a little energy blast and just sign off on sending our love to the light. So here we go. Just gather that up as much as you can. Nice 3 deep breaths. Just fill it up. And with all your energy, just push it out with absolute gratitude, pure gratitude to the bone, and absolute love, unconditional love, nothing in return, just my love, love, love. Thank you for all of it.
Oh, I love that. I love sending out love with no expectations in return. It
Especially to the source.
feels so good, man. It feels so good.
Reflects back in amazing ways.
All right, folks.
So I love you guys, man. I'll see you next week, and we'll have a brand new something. Peace and love.